that you can hear me all right. That sounds okay. It's all coming good, coming through good. Yeah. Hi Scott, Danny. How you doing, buddy? It's all good stuff, isn't it? Right. I know what I am going to do before we even start, and I know that's going to start getting annoying straight away. I'm playing the game, so I'm juggling phone, wireless mics, and tablet tonight. So see if we can get it. It's technology, isn't it? Okay, all good. Yeah, good to hear from you, Neil. I'm glad you're all well. Right, so Nick Mann kicking off straight away. Couple of hounds. Yeah. Target in the race. We had a £12 plus undulate. Came up Tuesday night. They're right down our way. Okay. I know the other people are going to join and that. It was a little bit late, and I added an extra 5 minutes on because obviously we were outside clapping for the NHS. Show our appreciation. But yeah, hounds. So I'll hold my hand up. Never caught a hound from the shore before. So the other night when I caught both of those hounds, it was a revelation to me. It was absolutely amazing. A friend took me to one of his favourite marks. And when my reel stripped for the first time, I was blown away. Absolutely blown away. My rod was jagging over, the reel was stripping line. And that was the smaller of the two. So the first one, can't remember the exacts. I know I'll put it up on the community channel. It was £6 something. It was amazing. And it fought at distance, a little bit of a scrap, but nothing much in the middle, and then put up one hell of a scrap close to the shore. And it was amazing. It definitely was amazing. Absolutely loved it. So Scott, what's that you're trying to say then, buddy? How's this GS, and congratulations on the hound? I don't understand what the GS bit is. Jay Cook, good evening, buddy. Lewis Goodacre, ADB Fishing. The fishing wagon. Right, so the first question about the wagon. So I have been filming. I know I haven't put a video out for a little while, but I like to concentrate on what I'm doing and try the best I can, rather than just pump stuff out for the sake of pumping it out. So I've cut and laid outro flooring. If anyone knows what outro flooring is, it's super tough, really tough, hard wearing lino, for want of a better word, but like factor 10. You know, it's you can't really compare the two. So I've laid the floor in the van. I've added some auxiliary power into the back of the van, and I'm in the process of shopping for a solar setup. So I've calculated I need 2 solar panels, 2 batteries, charge controller, all the gubbins, all the bits and pieces, to do what I want it to do. And then I'm sort of designing a bed arrangement, but a bed arrangement that can be removed. The van, I'm really chuffed with it. I used it again the other night for fishing, which sounds obvious, I know it's a fishing wagon, but being able to chuck your gear in the back, if it's raining, get changed in the back. I got caught short at a fishing venue the other day. I had a pee in the back. I peed in a bottle because there was no toilet, and it was too public. There were people around, and there was just nowhere to go. So where do you go? I needed to go. Went in the back of the van. What else we got? So that's the fishing wagon. I'm chuffed to bits with the fishing wagon, and Jasper the fishing hound loves it. When you wind the window down, it's just the right height to get his big flippy flappy ears out the window, but the mirror sort of shades him from getting it blasted in his face. So even when we're going down the motorway, we've got spaniel's ears coming out of the, not those spaniel's ears, we've got spaniel's ears flapping around outside of the window. Raymond mentions the hounds. I'm guessing I'm going to get a couple of comments through this evening about the hounds. I am chuffed to bits, and to come that close on my first ever hound session to getting a double figure hound, I'm going back. I am definitely going back. Right, Scott, how did the reels hold up to it? Absolute breeze. They weren't stressed out in any way. I'd loosened the drags right off because that's what I was told to do. That's what I was advised to do. Like I said, I've never caught one from the shore before. We knew there were some big ones kicking around because the previous evening a buddy of mine had caught a £15 15 ounce, so just short of £16 smoothie from the exact same position, and yeah, released the drags off. First I knew about it, I was stood about 3 feet away from the tripod, heard the zzz as it went off, looked up at the rods like you instinctively do to see which one's going, and it was jagging right over. And if I hadn't have released the drag off, it would have pulled the tripod over. We had to have the tripods really high, or the rod tips really high, because that night we were absolutely plagued with weed. Every time you reeled the bait in, it was bald and covered in weed. So I was bringing the baits in, not to change them, but maybe every 15 minutes, cleared the weed off them, put them back. And that first one, I put it back, put it on the tripod, adjusted the clutch or drag, stood back, and it went almost instantaneously. So I must have put that bait right on top of the fish. The fish was already there. It was amazing. I absolutely loved it. Did I get it on video? Right. I went to a place, and I'll call this out now because I don't hide anything. I went to a place that a very good friend invited me to, and he asked me not to. He asked me not to because there's some issues with public rights of way and stuff like that. Everyone's allowed on the beach, but there's some issues. So out of pure respect, I didn't video it. Plus I wanted to concentrate on what I was doing. Sometimes the filming takes over, and I know that's hard to explain, but by the time you've got everything set up and you're trying to capture the moment, I've lost fish before now. You haven't seen them on camera, but I've lost fish while I'm trying to film. And I really didn't want to lose fish this night. That said, as soon as this video's finished tonight, Jasper, my nipper, and I, we're going out, and we're going to go and collect some bait, some crab, and I'm going tomorrow night to a venue that I can film. I'm not going to say it's a done deal, it's not guaranteed, it never is, but there's been some cracking smooth hounds from that position as well. So we're going there tomorrow night, and that one will be filmed, and I'll really push hard to get that one out this weekend. So that video should be here this weekend. So how did the reels hold up to it? Really well. And I was quite surprised how well my rods held up as well, because my rods are £95 rods and my reels are £75 reels. I could buy £500 rods and £400 reels, but I've chosen to do this deliberately before doing another step up, so I can compare. But the rods and the reels held up really well. Where have I been hiding? I've been busy. Where have I been hiding? I've been a busy boy. So even though 1 week I work from home, 1 week I work from site as a key worker, working from home is harder than working on site. I've finished my degree, so at the ripe old age that I am, the silly old bloke in the corner, I've been back to school and done a degree, so my last paper has been submitted. And I've been working on the van, been working on the house, spending time with my family, and I've been fishing. So believe it or not, I've been fishing since lockdown restrictions were raised 4 times now. 4 times, 4 full sessions, 6 to 8 hour sessions. Done loads of filming, just haven't had the time to put it all together. What we got? So where have I been? I've been a busy boy. How's things? Typo error. I know that feeling. Congratulations on your first caught shore hounds. Also, right, so yeah, some people have been getting stickers. People have been ordering stickers. It's not a shameful plug, just someone's just mentioned it now. So stickers have been going out. I'm really pleased with the graphic. You know, my round symbol, the MW. I don't know if anyone's picked up on it, but it's light blue, dark blue, like waves. You know, if you look at it, it does look a bit like waves. And my mate Stu done my graphic for me. But yeah, stickers going out. Phil Carpenter, evening Mr. W. Evening. Daniel, been clapping. Don't need to apologise for that, buddy. Show our appreciations. I've got a little view on that, and I think we should do more than clapping. I think we should look after our NHS. Yeah, clapping's good. I totally agree, but I think we should do a little bit more than that now. You don't always need the most expensive gear. Being a tackle tart doesn't make you a better fisherman. No, it doesn't. And the proof of that is, every year down in Cornwall, at some point or another, a kid with a stick with some string on the end of it pulls a double figure bass out of the beach, doesn't he? And then all along the pier are all the guys with all the gear and the tripods and the fancy hooks and the traces and the weights and the gear and the clothes. And some kid just yanks one out with a broom handle with a bit of string tied to it. But I like catching. I like being the underdog. It would be devastating for you guys to see me filming with £500 Century rods and £300 Shimano's and all this super spangly gear and not catch anything. That'd be devastating, wouldn't it? But if I don't catch something on my stuff, you know, it's obviously the weather. The weather or the bait. That's always my excuse. Is that an emergency service pager? It's a microphone. This should really be on a belt clip, and I should have a little wire. So you see those little microphones like you see on the telly when they got the little packages at the back. So there's another one of these boxes plugged into my phone, and I can't really show you because in fact I possibly can. So there's another box that's plugged into my phone, and the two are talking to each other. So as I talk, you can see the levels going up and down. Look, I bought these so that when I film on the beach, and more so now with the lighter evenings and the nicer weather and it's not pouring down rain and blowing a hoolie, I can set the camera up, and as I'm playing a fish, I can still talk to you as I walk away from the camera because it's still wireless and it will still do its thing. That and the drone will start appearing in more of the footage that I take. So you'll see some different camera shots, hoping that you can see more things like casting, playing a fish. I'd love to have filmed playing those smoothhounds the other night, and all that kind of stuff that's probably lacking out of the videos at the moment. I think it is lacking, and it's the sort of thing I would like to see. So it's not an emergency pager, it's a Bluetooth microphone thing. Okay, so Jay Cook says he's not convinced with the expensive rods. It's nice to have nice stuff. But it's nice to have stuff that works as well, isn't it? So I don't want to go too far down that route really, because some people might get upset. I've got nothing wrong with people spending on their hobby because they covet something and they really want it and they want to cuddle it and stroke it and polish it and look at it, put it in a cabinet, fish with it. But there's nothing wrong with the guy with 20 pieces of line tied together because he can't afford a spool of new line, you know? He's fishing at the end of the day. Yeah, so Sonic rods, South Wales angler. Everyone's going to have their opinion on rods. Everyone's going to have their, you know, I paid a lot and I enjoy it. I paid nothing. I got given this. I found it in a skip. Whatever. If you're fishing, that's really all that matters, isn't it? Hello from the Wirral, from Betty Swallocks. What a YouTube name, Betty Swallocks. That made me chuckle. I like that. That's a good one. Mally Sea Angler Richardson. Hello, Mark. Hope you're okay. Yeah, I'm good, buddy. I am really good, actually. There's you know, I count all my blessings at the moment. I'm not on furlough. I'm on 100% pay. I've got a job. There's people struggling for work out there at the moment. I've got my health. I've got my family around me. I've got Jasper the fishing hound. I've got my fishing van. I'm going fishing. Apart from having a few restrictions in place on me, I think that's a small price to pay, to be honest. Where else we got? Still waiting for a big fish on them. Decent hound tomorrow night. So Steve Newell fishing for a decent hound tomorrow night. Don't have to tell me the exact venue, Steve, but whereabouts are you fishing? What part of the country? Just to remind me. I think I remember even talking to you as well. An 8.5 pound bass and had to pull it 10 foot up on the rocks. I bet that was a nerve-wracking moment. So recently, and it is restricted area. Not everyone can fish there, and it's it's like fishing in a in an aquarium, and there's some cracking fish there. There's some really big clonkers, and Stu caught a really nice bass, and it was up to me to drop net it. So I dropped the net, and the bass swam right through the rope out the other side, out of the net, before I had a chance to lift it up. I was gutted. I thought he's going to lose the fish. He's going to lose the fish, and it's my fault. Luckily enough, it didn't snap off. It didn't escape. Managed to lower it, and as hard as it sounds, he managed to guide it back around and in, and I managed to get it out. But I was bricking it, to be honest, because I thought I was going to lose him his fish. Malcolm Cumming recently purchased 2 Tronix Pro Aphex TT Continentals. What sort of length are those? Because I am a sold done deal on long rods at the moment. 15 foot 6. My casting's not amazing. My casting with a 12-foot beach rod, it's not amazing. I can pendulum cast, but I'm nervous of doing it when I've got other people near me. But if I off the ground or just overhead thump with 15.5-foot rod, I'm watching the reel waiting for it to stop because it just keeps going and going and going. I'm convinced that some of the venues I'm fishing at, I'm overcasting. So the place where we fished the other night for the smooth hounds, I literally flipped the bait out. I didn't even cast it, for want of better words. 40, 50 yards, maybe that, I don't know, not that far. Going to join the crowds at Eastney. Stu had 2 smooth hounds at Eastney last night. So this is my point of view, and if it helps anyone, then I really truly do think, I was convinced that you had to use peeler crab for the hounds, and there's a reason. I understand one of the reasons why. Female peeler crab give off like a pheromone to attract the males, because they can only breed when they're soft, so they attract the males, and I'm convinced that the fish hone in on that pheromone and, you know, smash them up and all the rest of it. But the hounds don't come across a crab, see it's, oh, nudge it, oh, you're a hardback, I ain't touching you, I'm going to go and find myself a soft one. They just smash them. They just smash them to bits, and they will just absolutely annihilate them. And hardbacks are so easy to get. So we're going out tonight with 3 little kiddies drop nets with some fish heads and guts, waiting for the tide at the moment. We're going to go out, lower them over the quayside, wait 10 minutes and pull up a net full of crab. Put them all in a bucket, get half a bucket, bring them home, cut of ice packs, lid, and then my bait for tomorrow night. They would cost me nothing. I don't mind throwing them away and putting them back in the water when I've finished, because I'll get fresh the next day. And I can get as many as I like, and they cost nothing. And they're good bait. They are genuinely good bait for the hounds. So if you're fishing for hounds, don't be scared to use hardback. Don't think that you have to pay all the money, because peelers are expensive. If you're not collecting them yourself, and they're not easy to collect either, unless you've got 100 tyres laid out somewhere that you can go and inspect at low tide, hardback. And don't break your back turning rocks. Use a little kiddie's drop net and just some fish guts over the side. You'll fill it up. I'm going to video it later, just for curiosity's sake. And then the other one for hounds, they love ragworm. They love ragworm, but a lot of it. So I don't know if you've seen in some of my possibly last winter earlier videos where you put 5 or 4, 5, 6 ragworm, just the heads on a needle, and hold it up so they all drop down, elasticate them down, invert the needle, elasticate them down, invert the needle, elastic and snap off, and then that sausage put on a pennel. That is a killer bait. That is an absolutely amazing bait. Not just for hounds, because the whole thing squirms and moves, and they're all damaged by the elastic and they leach out. It's good for big bass, rays. Hounds seem to love them. It is a cracking bait. But hardback crab and ragworm save you money from the peelers. Take heavy leads. I fished Eastney the other night, and I was using 6-ounce leads, and occasionally my lead was getting lifted and moved around. The tide run was pretty, and there was quite a lot of weed as well. There was a bit of weed, but when you get up to around slack water and the initial drop, you get about an hour and a half, 2 hours where it's really fishable, and that's when the fish seem to hit. So high tide and 2 hours down is what I would be fishing for Eastney, that is. So the South Wales anglers ordered a rod and he got a rod for free. That's a bit of a result, isn't it? Almost as much of a result as whoever's going to win the free seat tackle box. Hey, shameless plug, get that one in. So that is, the draw for the seat tackle box is on the 26th, and I'll do it live. So I've got a special program for the tablet. I'll put all the gubbins in the tablet, show the camera, press the button, out will pop a name, and I'll show everyone live so that you can see that there's no skullduggery, and then that person get in touch with us and they'll get the brand new box delivered straight to their home, direct from the online sailors. Join the crowds at Eastney. The coffee cup. If you're going to fish Eastney, either in front of the coffee cup or in front of the swimming pool, they seem to be the two hot spots. And if you don't catch anything, it's not my fault. Where the South Wales anglers fish, they catch hounds on sand eels and mackerel. It's quite a good point, really, because I think you're going to catch on what they're there to feed on. So the other night, using the hardback crab, they were coming into a bay to feed on crab. Different areas, if they're a ragworm present, maybe they're there feeding on a ragworm, which is why they got a taste for it. But if they're picking up mackerel in your area or sand, you've got to tune into that. You speak to other people or try various different baits and see what you get hit on. I do believe they're territorial and they hit at roughly the same time. So if you was to fish tonight, and you, not the time of the clock, because don't forget fishers haven't got watches, they don't go by watches, they go by the moon and the tide. So if you were to fish at 12 tonight and at 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock you got hit by a few, tomorrow night add the time for the extra tide and they'll come at roughly that sort of time within a certain window, you know, either side. So you don't have to be there all day fishing hours either side. Tune into when they're hitting. Catch reports are quite good for that. A lot of people inadvertently go on social media, oh look what I've just caught, and time clock it. Oh yeah, it was 12 o'clock. Tomorrow night, the high tide's 50 minutes later, I'll fish the area at 1 o'clock. Just for saying. Neil Lackenby, how do you find the casting trigger? So the casting cannons made by Breakaway, I'm braid on both my big rods, and if I'm casting 6 ounce weights, that shreds your finger. And with the salt water and all the rest of it, absolutely shreds your finger. So I'm using casting cannons, and I've even got into the habit now of using them even when I'm using lighter wet. I actually prefer using the casting cannon than holding the line. So if I swap on to my smaller rods, the 12-foot 6s with the Shimano reels, I actually miss that they haven't got a casting cannon. I've really tuned into them. I'll mention it on a future video and I'll show it, but I like them. I really like them. So far to say, I'd recommend them. If you're fishing braid, no shock leader, or if you're having problems, you know, if you're starting to get sore using a fixed ball reel, give one a try and don't bond it to your rod. I tie wrapped them to start with to see if I got on with them, then cut the tie wraps off and then used, not insulating tape because that gets all sticky, I used a fabric tape and it worked really well. But definitely casting triggers, casting cannons, whatever you want to call them, they are really good. Scott Harris, free bait is the best, and stuff that's easy and quick to get that doesn't trash your back. When I say trash your back, hauling all those rocks over and bending over and grubbing around for the crabs, I just have to pull a little net up, tip them in my bucket and lower it back down. It's good. What else we got? Right, so Somerset Beach Fishing Tony, that's a mouthful, said the actress to the bishop. You had a £9 4-hound, I think mine was about that, and you had another one, £6 3. I think mine was about that. So we've sort of mirrored what we've caught. Whitebait. Chesil Beach, very soon, at dawn, you get the whitebait balling up onto the shoreline, chased and pushed by the mackerel, the garfish and the bass, and then you get about a half hour, 40-minute feeding frenzy where the whitebait are literally jumping up onto the shingle, and as quick as they started, they all disappear again. You can walk up and down the beach with a bucket and freeze 4 or 5 pound in a bucket of whitebait, take it home, decant it down into sandwich bags, freeze them. They are amazing bait. If you catch at certain times of the year anything significant on Chesil, they nearly all got whitebait inside them. If you gut them, they're all eating this whitebait. They're all eating it. Bass, mackerel, you name it, they're all after it. Whitebait can be a really good bait. And they're fragile, but live whitebait, just a hook through its chin and flicked out, that's a killer bait. That is amazing. Malcolm Cumming, you're in the same park as me. Why don't I get free stuff? How's the battle wagon coming on, Andy Scott? Yeah, we were talking about it earlier on, mate. I'm chuffed to bits with the fishing wagon. I like being high up. I've got big windows. Yeah, you can see me coming. Sliding doors, big doors at the back, floors done. I've got a few little jobs to do, and I'm going to be kipping in it. Obviously not at the moment because of the restrictions. You're not supposed to do overnight stays and all that kind of stuff. Excuse me. Not supposed to do overnight stays and that. But the plan was always to travel a little bit further afield. We've got a trip semi-planned, but it's still going to go ahead when the restrictions lift to Scotland. Want to go to Wales, Cornwall, Kent, Norfolk. Yeah, all around, North East, everywhere. We want to travel around, film, and not be restricted by needing a cutler house kit whilst travelling, you know, just stop, pull over and lay by, or at services or whatever it is, wherever it's safe to do so, get a cutler house kit and then or fish kit and come home. So yeah, the van is, I'm chuffed to bits with the van. So South Wales anglers been getting bait, sand eel, lugworm, peelers. It's all good stuff. There's certain areas of the country, you know, that's pristine and not disturbed. If you was to go to my local beach, which is half a mile away, third of a mile away, whatever it is, it's clean. It's been cleaned out, and you could dig holes all around the beach, and you might find a ragworm if you're lucky. So I'm not into that kind of thing. I'll let someone else do that. Hermits are a good bait. I've heard hermit crab are a good bait. I wouldn't know where you'd find one local to me though. Lewis King, prefer the casting glove. Just another thing to add. Yeah, okay. I haven't used a glove. Never used a glove for that kind of thing. I can see where you might like that. Not really my thing. Even when I'm supposed to wear gloves for work, I don't like wearing them. That's just a personal thing, that is. Been looking at the Surfix 131 braid. It looks amazing, but £80 for 300 metres. Jesus wept. That's expensive, isn't it? I bought for Scotland, for when we go for the common skate, giant skate, whatever you want to call them, I've got £87 braid, and I'm just racking my brains now to think what it is. I bought 1,500 metres for less than 80 quid. I know you get what you pay for, but I wasn't going to pay no £80 for 300 metres. That would be a killer, that. How do you use hermits? I don't know, ask a hermit. I don't know. How do you use a hermit? If someone can answer, I'm happy to read it out. So Scott's a little bit aggrieved. You keep telling me that you're not allowed to drive to the marks, but you can walk. Can you cycle? I don't know. And why can't you walk? I'm winding you up, and I'm not trying to wind you up. I'm asking the question. Right, so Chris Carews, hi Mark, you still considering getting a kayak? I've got the roof rack on the van, so I could fit a decent proper fishing kayak on the van. I can fit a sib inside the van. I can tow a boat behind the van, and I live near the coast, so I could get a really big boat. So without giving too much away, all of that's going to happen at some point. So if you carry on watching, at some point you're going to see each of those. I will get a kayak. I am looking at the moment immediately for a sib. I would like to get a Warrior 165, possibly next year. And the ultimate goal for me with the channel is to run a charter boat in the Solent. That's what I'd like to do. Got to have a dream, haven't you? And if it happens, it happens, and you heard it here first. If it doesn't happen, at least I tried. So kayak, yes. Sib, yes. Boat, yes. Big boat, yes. I think all of those are on the cards at some point. So Kent Angling Productions, sup? What's up? It's Ragworm, back from digging 200 harbour. Did you count them? Did you count them or did you weigh them? Maddies. I used to dig a lot of maddies when I was younger. If you put a ragworm in front of a flounder or a bass near where I lived, it would literally turn away. You could actually watch bass with a float, a bubble float with a hook and a rag. You put like a decent, you know, proper angry big pinchered rag on there, and the bass would turn the nose up at it. You put 3 or 4 maddies, they're all flittering around, and they'd go nuts for it. Same with the flounder. You could put decent sized rag out time and time and time again, put one bait out with maddies on, and they'd smash it straight away. Your bait would hardly get wet and you'd get a bite. Maddies, if you're estuary, river, saltwater river, and some very muddy shorelines, you can't go wrong with maddies. Yeah, Andy Scott. Stick a drop net over the side on the EC outfall with a mackie in it, and you might get yourself something else as well, because there's all sorts out there. Paul Dry. Evening, Mark. A flippy floppy tail. Those smooth hounds had big tails. Flippy floppies. Andy Scott. Message retracted. It's 9 miles each way to my closest beach. What's the problem then, Scott? I used to cycle 18 miles each way to work. It used to kill me. And I couldn't do it each day, you know, day after day. I used to have to give myself a day's rest in between. Hi Mark, looking tanned. It's dirt. I probably need a wash, or it's the badgery beard that I've got at the moment. Have I thought any more about the meet and greet? It was, because I'm prepared, I've got a little piece of paper, the meet and greet. So I haven't cancelled it. I deliberately haven't cancelled it. It may be renamed something else. It may be the Just Go Fishing. I might bump into you. I don't know. I deliberately haven't cancelled it because you don't want to cut everyone's hope clean off. If people have planned in their mind, excited to go, sort of got their head around, maybe it's their first trip. That was part of the reason for doing it, to encourage people to go for their first trip. We can socially distance, as long as we're not clubbed together in great big groups and shaking hands and hugging each other, as long as we're 2 meters apart. I haven't cancelled it, but I am going to be very sensible about it. So if it looks dicey in any way, then I'll knock it on the head. But I'm not going to cancel it just yet. I'm not just going to cancel it because people could go fishing at the same venue. There's people down at Chesil now fishing, and you look at some of the photographs on social media, there's people all along the beach. There's nothing wrong with walking along and keeping your distance and having a chat with someone. It's no different than what everyone's doing at the moment. But I know that some people really might not like that idea of calling it a meet and greet. So I'm sat on the fence. I haven't cancelled it. If we do have to cancel it, like that is the proper thing to do, then we'll provisionally rebook it for another time when we can do it. Yeah, the restrictions. I'll adhere to whatever the restrictions are. Okay, and I think people will understand that. I don't think anyone's going to have to justify whether you do or don't cancel it. Everyone knows what the score is. So I think we're talking about hermit crabs again. Oink it out of its shell and put it, okay, through the head. White rag is a killer bait. Mally Sea Angler Richardson. Mally Richardson. White rag. I've not really come across white rag. It's not really that available to me. And if I've seen it and it's been available, I didn't want to pay the price for it. But I've heard it's a good bait for tipping off other baits. And maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't actually personally used white rag. Phil Carpenter is 55 to my nearest. My deepest sympathies, mate. I'll give you a camera hug. A little hug. Sorry, I can't move you closer to the beach. I counted 220 up to my bollocks in estuary mud for 2 hours. More fun you, mate. If you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh, my back. For me, it's worth the price of paying someone to dig that. South Wales Anglers, are you a key worker? Right. I don't think so, but my company does. So I work, I'm an engineer by trade. I was in the military for a long time, and I work fixing ships. That's what I do. I'm a commissioning engineer. So fixing naval vessels, which is classed as a key worker. There are other people that are far more important than what I am, by a long way. Right. Yeah, Manny said, I'm not really on the front line, buddy. I'm not in any kind of danger. I can man my office on my own, and all my guys that work at the office are really considerate and good and all that kind of stuff. We're doing all right. I genuinely count my blessings. There are a lot more people far worse off than what I am. Right. So Scott, you're not doing yourself any favours with these comments, mate. Ha ha, Andy. I'm too out of shape for that. But if you cycled to the beach and back, you would get fit. You'd get fit, and then it'd get easier, and then you might do it because you like it, not just because you got to do it. And then when the restrictions lift and you can drive your car, you might go, cars for ladies, you know, doing what ladies do. I'm going to cycle. On any Sunday, keep writing things and deleting them, as they may offend. I find that offensive. How you doing anyway, mate? You all good? Write what you like, as long as you're not going to upset the others. You know, I've got tough skin, thick skin. If you've got something you really want to say, then say it. This isn't alcohol, by the way. It is genuinely a soft fruit-based drink designed for children. Because I'm going out in a minute, I'm going to go and collect some bait. Get back on your bike. That's not exactly offensive, is it? I still need to get my dirt bike, my Green Lane bike. I haven't got it MOT'd yet. I need to get it MOT'd. And the Africa Twins just sat there, feeling sorry for itself. Yeah, I can see you have crabs now, as well as the lobster. But the lobster, I foraged this the other day. Foraging videos seem to be really popular. So I've got my crab, Larry. He's been cooked. That's not how they come raw. And I picked crabs up in Bangkok. And this was the biggest one I kept. I've got to be careful that Jasper the fishing hound don't hear that, because he'll go nuts. What have we got? Get back on your bike. I see you have crab now as well as the lobster. Yeah, I'm foraging. He's downhill. Bummer coming back. Get yourself an e-bike. Get yourself a bike with one of those big batteries and an electric motor. I thought about it, and then I jumped in the car instead. But yeah. So what we got then, fellas? Barry Corbett. Evening, buddy. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us. What bait are you going to collect? Peeler hunting? No, I won't do it. I will not search out peelers. If I was going for bass or place where peelers might tip the edge, then I might go and get some peelers, you know, and I know a couple of little places where it's possible to get some peelers. But for the hounds, hardback crab, I just fill a big Tronix Pro bucket half full with some cool freezer packs inside, leave it in the workshop overnight. It's quite spooky because you can hear them crunching and munching around in the morning. Yeah, and what I don't use, I just tip back in the sea. So I always take far more than I need, and I'll be collecting them for the other guys that I'm going with tomorrow, because it's easy to collect them. So hardback crab is what I'm getting. Your dog's just gone nuts. Right. So, right. Jasper the fishing hound always used to sleep outside in his crate, in a like conservatory with a dog flap and all the rest of it. And he's 3 years old, and only recently he decided, I'm not doing any of that sleeping outside malarkey. I want to be indoors. So without causing too much of a fuss, other than physically not moving when we told him it's time to go to bed, so we're like, right, if you want to stay there, just stay there. That was a couple of months ago. So he started staying in the house. Last night, stroke early hours this morning, he's never done this before. He got caught short and he went toilet in the house. But you can imagine what was going through his head, because he was like, oh, I've got to go. I've got a bad stomach. I'm not feeling very well. I've got to go. Where do I go? So he went right next to the toilet. He thought, I'll go where they go. So he went right next to the toilet in the bathroom. Bless him. And he was clearly not very well. So without getting too graphic about it, didn't tell him off because he knew that it wasn't right. But yeah, so this morning, you can picture this now, I'm in my boxer shorts with one of those carpet washers. We've got carpet in the bathroom. I know, it's not a big deal. Washing carpets. I don't know what it was, 4:45 this morning, something like that. Pete Mosley, evening shippers, has this turned into a cycling channel? I can wear a pair of cycling shorts if that helps. Oh dear. You don't want to see me in a pair of cycling shorts. How do I bait up hardback crab? We're going to have a look now, aren't we? This was explained to me, and there's two ways, I believe, right? So the first one, you crab in the underside, and you can tell if it's male or female, depending on whether that is thin and pointy or fat and wide. You just put the hook through there, and it pops up out the shell, and then you elastic a little bit around the body just to make sure that hook doesn't pull out. That's not my favourite way. That is predominantly if you're fishing from a boat using hardback crab. I'll get a little bit closer. If you was to pull both those bottom legs off, you'd leave the sockets where they were. So you pull both those back legs off and it leaves two holes. If you put the hook through both sockets, so the hook sits like that, all of these legs on this side then get elasticed together, and what that does is it stops the crab moving around on the bottom and going under a rock and snagging you up, because all of those legs are all elastic together. You can still move these a little bit and you can still do a little bit, but that's about it. So the hook would be underneath there and pointing out there, and then all elastic together in one go. That is how I hook up a hardback crab. I'll do it on the next video. Proper one, proper crab, show you all the bits, put the hook through, elastic it all up, clip it up on an up and over rig and fire it out so you can see what happens. Neil Lackenby, I'm with you. Tried hunting peelers, spent hours, 2 crabs and a burnt head. Just go for the hardbacks. If you're fishing for hounds, they absolutely smash them. It's possible that it's a more aggressive take on hardback. I'm not going to preach that. I'm not saying that's definite. But my gut feeling is, as soon as something approaches a crab and it throws its claws up in the air like that, I think they take from behind, which is why the hook from behind is a good idea. I think they take from behind and they just smash it to pieces. Alan's message retracted. And Neil, and the 2 crabs you did get didn't catch. That's devastating, isn't it? You put all that effort in and then you don't get anything. Yeah, most of the flounder used to catch were stuffed full of tiny little hardbacks about the size of the thumbnail. Can't really put those on a hook though, buddy. Well, I suppose you could if you... Yeah, I suppose you could, and then tip it off with a bit of worm or something. Hardbacks or hermits for hounds. Razorfish, good hound bait. Yeah, definitely. Okay, yeah, so I know peelers are top bait. I genuinely... There's something about, obviously, peelers and giving off loads of juice and all that kind of stuff. But I think most people that are successful with peelers are using female peelers, and I think if you took the time to recognise if you're catching on a male or female peeler, I think you'll notice that female, and I don't think people are going to talk about this openly, because people that sell peeler crabs want you to buy the males and the females, because there's more males than females, I'm fairly confident. But I think personally it's the female peeler crabs that are catching, and if people like Solent Seagoo and those people that make bottles of liquids, if they could replicate the pheromone that the female peeler crab gives out, you'd be on for a winner. You'd catch on a brick as long as you put some of that stuff on it. Yep, so hardbacks, hair rigged carp style. That's another with elastic band. I know that's another popular way of doing it. The South Wales anglers, shout me out, please. Fingers crossed. Well, you shouted out, buddy. You're all over the page, and I've just shouted you out. Chris Martin, what's the best oil for a KLR 650? Go on a KLR forum and ask. There will be millions of questions on a KLR forum. I think they're quite agricultural engines actually, so I think you could put cooking oil in them. Don't try that. Chris Martin, you little tinker. I know you say pitch invasion. Go on, just start. Just start. Remember, I am a qualified locksmith, so you're not safe in your home. Don't have hounds in Scotland, but you do have common skate. Would I swap hounds for skate? I don't think I would, because I like to have both. I like to have the hounds down south and the skate up north. Do I ever go out spinning with lures for bass off the beach or rock marks? Yep, I've got a lure rod. And one of my favourite tactics for in the dockyard type area fishing is just to take a fillet of mackerel and make your own lure. So just a plain hook, no weight on the line. Cut it to the shape so that when you twitch and move it around, you replicate, you know, like the old dying fish type scenario. That's killer bass bait. Lures, sidewinder lures. I've just bought some Dexters. I knew about Dexters, but I haven't used them for a long time, and I'm going to revisit and retry them again. And I'm very lucky. I've got the Hamble River and the Bewley River close by. Well-known bass marks, brilliant for lure fishing. So I'm going to be doing some of that soon, and some filming, organising like a chest thing so you can see when you're filming and stuff. Stuart Smith, if I catch a shark, can I put him in my fish tank? Absolutely, buddy. And if you want, I'll catch you a shark so you can put it in your fish tank. Sardine oil. Solent Seagoo and Codfather are amazing. They are amazing, but they can't replicate the pheromones from a female peeler crab. I should get Pachinko surface lures. I've never heard of them, but I'm going to look now that you've mentioned them. Andy Collins, evening Mark and everyone, rather a tad late. Mate, I'm just about to go. I'm going to knock it on the head at 9 o'clock because I'm going out, which is why I'm not drinking alcohol, because I usually drink alcohol. What we got? You don't get hounds up your way, but you think as the sea's getting warmer, you might get them soon. We never used to get hounds along the south coast. I think, is it possibly in the last 20 years that the population of hounds has gone from and get this right, from east, from Kent, and it slowly worked its way down the coast. I don't know how true my facts are with that, but I know for a fact we never used to get hounds caught off the beach all the time. So Gary Birch fishes for bass all the time, never uses peeler, but uses a lug. Best bait in the world. I would argue that. It really does depend where you're fishing. I've fished lug local to me and it won't catch nothing. You won't catch nothing round here on lug. Not close to me. Ragworm, yes. Bluey and squid. So if anyone said to me, if you had one bait choice, what would it be? Squid. And if you had to come close second, it'd be bluey. And on a different day, I'd flip-flop between the two. Bluey, squid, whichever one. But yeah, lugworm wouldn't be my first choice around here. Any joy with mackerel your way? If you want to catch dogfish, put mackerel out. Because it's a foregone conclusion. If you put mackerel wrapped in something, squid or anything else, you'll catch a doggy. Out of every 100 doggies you catch, you might catch something else. But if you put mackerel out where I live, you're going to catch a doggy. Weymouth Angling Centre is trading. Well done, Andy. Yeah, my local bait shop now is doing a click and collect service. So you phone your order through, pay online, and then they kick it out the door, ring a bell, unclean, and you go and collect your little bag, and away you go. 2 of my local shops are doing that now, and we've got to remember that they're struggling because I don't know if they get any financial help, but the shops are genuinely struggling. Never caught on peeler down in Bournemouth. Bournemouth for me is definitely a sand eel place. If I go to Bournemouth, Barton, Hordle, Southbourne, any of those, I love fishing those positions. If you've never fished Bournemouth way, highly recommend you give it a go. Don't know what it's like early evenings once we get into the real summer because the beach is absolutely packed. But fished it through this winter, Hordle, Barton and Southbourne. Sand eel all the way. Absolutely amazing place to fish. So yeah, coastal waters are changing, temperatures changing, people catching different fish. They're starting to catch triggerfish down at Chesil. You know, it's bizarre what they're catching. Talking about taupe, doggy is better than a blank. Depends on how much effort is taken to get the doggy. So I fished 6 hours the other night down at Eastney, fishing really hard for what I thought was a done deal for the hounds, and I winkled out a dogfish, and that was it. Troy saw the first shoals of mackerel today. I heard a report that they started catching mackerel down at Chesil, and usually find the sand eels coming first, closely followed by the mackerel, and the birds were landing at Portsmouth Water day before yesterday. So the mackerel won't be far away where I am either. Have I tried Hentingsbury Head? I haven't. Whereabouts is that, Alan? Give us a message. Just tell us what area of the country you're talking about. So Mark Hanley seems to think he's got a lot of taupe, but now more smoothies. Smooth hounds are prolific. If you look on any social media at the moment, it is absolutely a wash. And I don't know if that's because everyone's been on restriction, everyone's gone fishing, or whether the water temperature is rising and we're getting more of them. But I don't remember ever hearing about this amount of smooth hounds when I was a kid. And I know that was a long time ago, but you know, if you're talking about serious change in one person's lifetime, that's quite significant if that's the weather, you know, the weather that's causing that. Christchurch Harbour. No, I haven't, but it's on my list. So I will be fishing Christchurch Way and Muddyford and a few other places, Poole Harbour and a few other places down that way. Prawn is a very underestimated bait and expensive. I won't buy it because it's too expensive. I've seen those freeze packs that they do in the shop, and they're like, I don't know, 5 prawns, and they're like £4 or something. They're like £1 a chuck. That's quite expensive. I have considered an evening. Obviously, the restrictions have changed everything, but I was considering taking a prawn net down to Weymouth, because in the old harbour with a fish head on, you'll get prawn in the harbour in a net. And then you've got to go through that whole process if you're going to catch live prawn, of keeping them alive, aeration, all that kind of stuff. I know it's really good, but I'd rather be concentrating on doing what I do here. If I was to travel down there and stay a few days, then I might consider that. Prawn for place. I'd rather eat the prawn. If you said to me, here's a handful of prawns, or you can have this flippy floppy fish, I'd have the prawns. Cheap king prawn from Asda. Just wash it. Right, I'm getting close to calling this, fellas. The reason why I'm getting close to calling it is because I really do want to go out and get some bait. I want to go out and get some bait ready for this weekend. And tomorrow is planned for a filming session. So, let's have a look. Neil Lackenby, collecting small mussels. See, we used to use, and I'm trying desperately now to quickly think what they're called. What are the shellfish that you're not allowed to collect anymore? You're not allowed to use them as bait. You're not allowed to collect them. Oh, what are they called? Slipper limpet. So when I was a kid, if you couldn't dig because of the tide, if you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that, you could walk along the beach, fill a bucket up with slipper limpet, sit there with a beat up old, not too sharp hook, and pull them all out and fill a container up. And you could go fishing off a pier, jetty, wall, anywhere, and use slipper limpet. And it's only now that I'm an adult that I found out that that's illegal, that you're not allowed to do it, for fear of moving the slipper limpet around. But surely if they're there anyway, if you used them as bait, that would help to keep the numbers down. I don't know. It's a bit strange. It's a weird one for me that you're not allowed to use slipper limpet. I'm sure some scientist somewhere has got an amazing idea as to why you're not allowed to use it, but it's a little bit crazy to me. More so that you could collect it, freeze it, kill it humanely, and use it in the future. And because it's been frozen, obviously it won't be alive when you put it back in the water. But they won't wash that either. They won't go with that. So slipper limpet always used to be a good bait. It used to be a cracking bait. You're not allowed to use it. It's legal. Oh. Right, yeah, so get your bait. I'm going to get going. So I am going to call it, fellas. Slippers are everywhere. Yeah, they are. And the storm's moving them around. Absolutely, which is why I don't understand why we can't use them. Good luck for the weekend. Thank you very much, Nick. Appreciate it. No slippers in Scotland. That's because you wear your shoes indoors. I used to live in Scotland. I lived in Scotland for two and a half years. In Glasgow. In Scootstown. Scootstown. Aye, wee laddie. We use Limits. Isn't Limits like a diet drink? I don't know. What are you going about the limpets? Tight lines, catch you next time. Cheers, Steve. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. Barry Corbett, good luck for this weekend. Cheers, buddy. I appreciate it. I'm a Geordie living in Scotland. Is that allowed? We've got a Geordie at work. It always makes me laugh. I always pick up, way I feel. Yeah. Good luck to all and stay safe. Neil, oh, what are you doing? I'm a Geordie living in Scotland. That's a right old mix. Can you actually, the weirdest thing, if you ever go to Glasgow and you go to get like in an Indian restaurant or go to a curry house or something like that, and I don't mean anything by this, it's just, it messes with your brain. When you're talking to an Indian person trying to serve you with a Glaswegian accent. So it just throws your mind all over the place. Everyone stay safe. Yes, thank you very much. Good luck at the weekend. Might see you somewhere as I'm down there. So Stephen Morris, yeah, if you're down, yeah, chuck us out a message if you're somewhere nearby. It's always nice to see people, speak to people, obviously 2 meters apart. Best of luck, skill for the weekend. It is luck. It's all luck. Cheers, Danny. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Right, guys, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to get going. It's been nice spending some time with you. I appreciate reading all the comments. When I click the go off live button in a minute, by all means, when this does load up, add any comments that you want answered, or if there's anything else that you want to discuss. And I'm filming tomorrow, and I'm possibly filming the next 2 days, 2 evenings. So there should be quite a lot of content coming out, because there's a lot still to be edited and released as well. So there's workshop stuff, van stuff, fishing stuff, bait. There's a whole truckload. I've just been slow getting it out. Yeah, go get out. I'm going to go get them crabs. Wait, what are your £90 rods called? They are Shakespeare Extreme Blacks. Is that right? Shakespeare K2s. So if you Google Shakespeare Extreme Black K2, that's what my rods are. I think retail is about £300, £290 or something like that. But if you shop around and wait to see them on offer, they were £94, I think, which you get a lot for your money. They are Fuji rings, real seats, carbon. I'm not going to big them up too much because they are cheap rods, but they're good cheap rods. And then thank you very much. So Scott, cheers, I'm going. Neil, yeah, thank you very much, buddy. Nice for you to join us. And Chris, take care. Yeah, I'm out in the fishing wagon, so I can run over people and stuff and just bump over it. Right, I'm off, guys. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to spending some time with you again sometime soon. I will get some more content out so you can get a bit of a fishing fix. And I'm desperate to get on film the stripping the line as a smooth hound takes his first run. That is my goal. I really want to get that on film, because that is a real adrenaline buzz. So bye for now, take care, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers, guys.